What is up, you bunch of nerds? It's your boy Jay Gooley, and I got another review today. This is the first time that I've captured anything, but my first review that I actually have gameplay for. This is Tiny Tina's Wonderland. It's a Borderlands spinoff. Ooh, lucky dice. So I might have a sort of different take on this because I never played the Borderlands games. Well, I kind of played them, but I just didn't really get into them that much. I definitely played the first one, but um, it was just okay. I played it maybe back in whenever it first came out, and I wasn't really all that into it. It was okay, but I like the art style. I never really got into first person shooters all that much. I did like a game I played in high school called 13, and I thought that game was a lot of fun, and it kind of had the same kind of art style, very comic booky. It had the voice of David Duchovny in it, the guy that played Fox Mulder on the X-Files, and it was cool. But other than that, I think I played Thief. I loved BioShock. BioShock was great. I played shit, man. Far Cry 3, I played at that time. That was what I had played was Far Cry 3. Um, it wasn't until the PS4 came out that I was able to play Far Cry 4 and beyond and stuff. But right now I definitely have a different take than I had back then. But back then, when I played the first Borderlands, I just didn't really think much of it. It was too much, too many items, and you buy them from vending machines and you sell them at vending machines, and it was just, what the hell is that? Is that sheep falling out of the sky? It was just a lot, and it's still kind of a lot. It's still kind of overwhelming when you see all these weapons. Um, I never got into looter shooters though, so there are very few of them that I ever even considered playing. I had considered playing Destiny, but yeah, I didn't get into that either. I'd seen my girlfriend play it, but I just, didn't. I just couldn't really get into it. So, anyways, a little bit before Horizon Zero or Horizon Forbidden West came out, I decided that I was gonna try Borderlands 3, and I really liked it. Actually, I thought it was really cool. And this is coming from somebody that never played the first two, and the general consensus that I've heard is that Borderlands 1 and 2 were amazing, and that part, 3 is just not that great. I guess the style of writing and the jokes and stuff changed. They were more stupid, childish toilet humor. So, I didn't play very far into Borderlands 3 though, but I liked it enough that I actually wanted to play this game. So, I picked it up, and I'm kind of getting into it. I mean, I played Elden Ring first, and I got this, but this game sits in a very weird spot compared to most things. It has a lot of RPG elements, but by no means is it an RPG at all. It reminds me a lot of Shaun of the Dead. How Shaun of the Dead was a comedy movie, uh, but it was a satire that made fun of horror movies. So this game is in the same sort of vein. How it it just makes fun of RPGs. Really, it's an RPG first, and it's a satire of RPGs. There's a lot of things in it that just I find hilarious, but I like RPGs, so for me to see something that's like kind of poking fun at them, I thought was a nice touch, and the area I'm in right now is really cool. It's like a huge beanstalk, and yeah, by the way, there are going to be some spoilers in this, but I just, if you don't want to hear spoilers, then I guess don't listen to my review. But that's what I'm going to do is talk about things that happen in this game. But I haven't really been that far into the game though, so if there are spoilers, they're not going to be very far into the game. So, anyways, this area is really cool. The big beanstalk erupted. I helped a little bean out because we got rid of the water and everything that was there, you can now traverse that area in the overworld, the big game board area. And where that water was, there was like a bean that said he's dying, because he's being baked by the sun. He's like, "Oh, I'm a baked bean." It was fucking funny. Uh, but yeah, you help him, and he's like, "Hey, I think that town would be a great place for me to flourish. Why don't you flick me in there?" So you flick him in there, and he grows into this huge fucking beanstalk, and the evil beans are destroying everything, and it's fucking dope, man. The imagery in this game is so good. Um, the guns in this game are really cool. They all, as you can see, they're like crossbows. Um, but they're actually guns. But you have all kinds of different ones. There's shotguns in it that are like, oh, they're so cool. They like have this, they like melt crystals or something, or they like grind crystals into shards and they shoot them out like as shotgun fragments, and it's freaking awesome. I think I sold it, which sucks because it's so awesome. Just to show off, it's a really cool weapon. Is this one of them? It might be. Let me see if this is one of them. Yeah, it is. You see the crystals and the front of it? It like grinds them up or something. And what the shit just happened? Yo, that was awesome. Yeah. So, anyways, the guns I think are a super nice touch. I think they are really cool. I really enjoy the art style and just the way the weapons work. You have different classes, but your stats and everything are very different than your regular RPG. Your standard RPG has dexterity and strength and magic, and you have all of that in this, but well, it's like you have strength, but what that does is it controls your damage that you do when you have a critical hit. Then you have dexterity, which controls your chance of having a critical hit. Then you have spell cooldowns from intelligence. Wisdom is how much damage you do when you use like poison or fire or anything. This is your health. And attunement is how long it takes for you to actually be able to use a spell again. So they're first person shooter stats, but they're disguised as an RPG type thing, which is, like I said, it's a nice touch, but like I said, it is a satire of an RPG. So, a lot of people have complained that the story is not all that great, but from what I'm seeing when I play it is that it's a bunch of people locked up in a spaceship or a bunker, and they are playing a board game, or they're playing a tabletop game. They're basically playing Dungeons and Dragons, but it's called Bunkers and Badasses. So, I mean, what kind of story are you really expecting? I mean, these kind of stories are what people make of them, and I think it's funny. I like Tiny Tina. I think she's a great character, and I think that it's just really cool that she's making this world and stuff, and it's God, it has so many cool things that are like, shit, just like touches from RPG games. You have like the mimic chests that are from, I thought they were from Dark Souls, which they are from Dark Souls, but a guy that I work with told me that they're actually from D&D. So I guess mimic chests are from Dungeons and Dragons, but they're also in Dark Souls. And like, there's a part where you open one of these mimic chests, and the shit. And the guy is like, oh shit, yeah, sometimes the mimic chests attack you, and so I thought that was my little buddy. He's like, so yeah, I just like to hit the chests as soon as I see them before they do anything. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, that's what I did in Dark Souls. Whenever there was a chest, I hit it. But you only hit it once because, you don't want to destroy the treasure chest and lose the loot that's inside of it. I'm a really big fan of the Dark Souls. You see his tongue hanging out? I'm a really big fan of the Dark Souls games. I thought they were all really good. And the Tiny Tina's DLC actually had like a little spoof of like Dark Souls, and it was really cool where there was like the Crestfallen Knight, and you had to help him get souls and, you know, recharge these bonfires, and then when you did it, you know, he wasn't like hollow anymore, and then he got invaded by somebody named Noob Killer, and I was like, oh shit, that is such a cool, you know, little Dark Souls Easter egg. That's awesome. I didn't realize people that made Borderlands actually like stuff like that, so it was cool. But as you see in this, you can see that it's a very fantasy-esque setting, and I really like it. Just it's something that I'm into, but and I'm not really into comedic type things. I don't really like comedies all that much. So, you know, I like things that draw me in are storylines. So, if it has a storyline that I like, then I'll be able to get into it. And the storyline in this game is funny more than anything, but it's also, you know, it's really heartbreaking when, well, I don't really want to say what happens, but there are some heartbreaking moments in it. There are. And there's just, it just has some really great characters. The characters in it are wonderful. The enemies, as you can see, it's got the little mushrooms. You have skeleton army. God damn, you have dragons. You have really all the tropes from fantasy movies. And my gun freezing shit? Yeah, that's my gun that's freezing stuff. Yeah, this gun is good. So, yeah, it has dragons. A little while ago, I did one where I touched a pillar and it made all these dragons come out of it, and I got a bunch of loot from it. But it was cool. I had to fight a hell of a lot of dragons, well, wyverns. You know, I really don't know where the term wyvern and worm came from, but yeah, that's what you fight, and it's just really cool. You know, it has a lot of nice touches to it. And in the beginning, I didn't really like the beginning of it all that much. It was okay, but you know, as I got into it more, I started liking it more. And the overworld is really cool. It's like the game board that they're playing it on, and you have rivers made from soda fountains, and you have a big cheese curdle or cheese curl that like blocks a path. And when you talk about it, Tiny Tina's like, "Oh yeah, that's a meteorite. Like that fell from the sky, and I put that there on purpose." Like, bitch, you're just dropping shit on the game board. Don't front. But it's funny, you know, it's nice little touches like that that really sell the game. And, you know, I love all the enemies. So far, they've been really cool, and I haven't even gotten that far into it. I've seen on the gameplay, like, trailer, I saw that there's, like, some sharks and shit, and, like, since we cleared out the water area, I'm expecting when I finish this whole side quest, which this is just a side quest, and it's huge. I mean, look how big the map in this side quest is. It's gigantic, and this is, like I said, just a fucking side quest, man. But it's been a lot of fun. This has been a really fun side quest, and I'm really enjoying it. So the voice acting really good, really but they're comedy actors, so you know, take that how you will. You have Will Arnett from what's it called, Arrested Development, and Wanda Sykes, and you have some other people that are just, you know, from comedies and stuff. So of course that's the way their voices come across. You know, you're not going to hear Will Arnett and expect him to be having this, you know, Troy Baker-esque, fully dramatic type performance. You know, no, it's him being him. You know, Will Arnett is being Will Arnett. Like that movie Let's Go to Prison. Every time I hear his voice, I'm like, oh shit, it's fucking, you know, freedom tastes so good, and then he passes out from drinking the fucking drink. Yeah, I'm old, so movies like that are still funny to me, but yeah, so, you know, my advice is that if you like Borderlands, you might not like it because, well, if you're a fan of the older ones, you're probably not going to like it because from what I've heard, it does not have the same humor and the same everything as the older ones. But, you know, for someone like me who's just getting into this type of stuff, I think it's, oh, can I reach that? I think it's pretty awesome. It's been a nice break, actually, from the sort of games that I'm used to playing, and, really, I didn't even get into RPGs all that long ago either. Like, I really just got into Dark Souls and Final Fantasy and stuff maybe about 3 years ago. No, I got into Bloodborne, and then, well, whenever Sekiro came out is basically, like, 2019, so 3 years. When Sekiro came out, I played it, and then I played Bloodborne, and then I played all the Dark Souls games and Demon Souls, and after all that, I started playing Final Fantasy games, and I really fell in love with Final Fantasy a lot. And, you know, so my experience with the RPG genre is not massive, but I do really like it. You know, it it is really something that I enjoy. So, you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that I am a huge RPG fan, but I've always kind of been a nerd, so I guess that kind of, you know, it makes sense that I like this type of stuff. But I never thought I really would. When I was younger, I never really wanted to play, you know, Final Fantasy or anything like that. I didn't like turn-based stuff, and I didn't even really want to play Final Fantasy games. But I saw the Final Fantasy VII remake, and I was like, shit, man, its graphics and gameplay couldn't be denied, and you know, so I played that. So now I guess I'm just a whole RPG fan, and it's cool, you know. I uh, I really like the whole tropes and everything. They're all very interesting, and I like them a lot. But uh, if you are just getting into this series, I would suggest to play this. But if you are an older fan, you probably won't like it. People are saying that the writing and stuff and the comedy in part one and two was much more nuanced and had a lot more intelligence and thought put into it. And now it's just toilet humor and jokes and stuff. And I don't really even know what the Butt Stallion is. I know it's from part two. I know who Handsome Jack is, but I never played those games, so can't really say I know what he was like or anything or any of that. So but this game, in my opinion, is really cool just because it it kind of pokes at RPGs a lot, and you know, for me, it's cool. It's a nice break. So, um, gameplay is all right. If you like first-person shooters and the comic-y style, then I'm sure you'll like it. I would give it a chance. I actually, for some reason, decided to buy the fucking $90 like version that came with the season pass and everything, and I don't know why. I guess I thought I was gonna like it that much for some reason. Um, I really love Dark Souls, and I just really love Final Fantasy, so I definitely like this better than I ever liked Borderlands. And I tried to play the first one, and I just really didn't like it. So this one though, I'm definitely getting into, but maybe that's because I'm an RPG nerd now. So I don't know. Take it how you will. I suggest trying it out, but you might not like it. I am pretty big fan of it though. I think when the pop figures come out, I'm gonna buy those. I have a pretty big pop figure collection. It's only getting bigger, and I definitely want the Tiny Tina ones. So, anyways, that's the review. I suggest checking it out, but if you're a fan of the old Borderlands, maybe not. Signing off, y'all. Take it easy.